see everybody right here on 5 Plus for 5 Outdoors. Our friend over at Game and Fish Commission, Trey Reed, with us today, and we're talking a lot about turkey season. This weekend it opened up for the kids. Next week for the rest of us, Trey, there's some changes that we might want to know about, especially with regards to the apps and the tags and different options. What's new? What do we need to know before we hit the woods?
I think the main thing to remind folks is that you are actually required to go in and select turkey tags for your license. I mean, now you bought the privilege to hunt turkeys if you bought the sportsman's license, a $25 license. That comes with two turkeys, right? But we're trying to keep track of how many people are actually hunting turkeys in Arkansas, Scott. I mean, we know with duck hunters, we know exactly how many we have, give or take. The youth hunters are not required to have an Arkansas resident duck stamp, but so we know how many people are hunting ducks in Arkansas because they got to buy that stamp. We sell a turkey stamp, but it's a voluntary product, so that's not a valid way to track turkey hunters. So if you want to know why we're requiring you to go in and select that tag, that's why. It doesn't cost anything. It's 100% free for residents, but do make sure that's on your license. If you use the app, it's easy to go in and see, are my turkey tags there? If they're
Yep.
not, go in and purchase for free those turkey tags. So that's the main thing. Now, one thing that if you bought that license, say at a licensed vendor, sporting goods store, something like that, bait shop, back before deer season, and you don't see those turkey tags, you're going to need to make sure you have those again. And if you can't get those straightened out with the vendor where you purchase that license, come to our Arkansas Game and Fish office or Nature Center where we sell licenses. We'll get you lined out. That's the main thing. Another kind of change this year for turkey season, Scott, is one more option to check your turkey in the field or within the 12 hours of taking that turkey. You need to check it. By going to, if you've got the app, you can do it inside the app. It's super easy. You can be offline and do it. If you're using the phone system, which about 30% of our hunters still like to check game over the phone, you'll notice that we've got a voice recognition system. So it is automated a little bit. We're hoping that it's going to reduce some wait times. Look, if you have issues, you can eventually get to a human operator who you can speak to. But we're offering really a third option, if you will, this season, Scott, and it's called Express Check. Some folks don't have the app set up, so they don't want to create that login and password and all that. Well, this way you don't have to. Now, you do still have to go to agfc.com to check that turkey, so you'll have to have service or a signal to do that. But in the upper right-hand corner, there's a button that just says Game Check. You'll click on that, it'll say check turkey, and you'll put the tag number, not your license number, but your turkey tag number, your last name and your date of birth. Boom, you're done. It's that simple. You don't have to create a login, a password. I still encourage folks to use the app and do it that way because it is really convenient and easy. Everything's stored right there on your smartphone. But not everybody's got a smartphone. Not everybody wants to do it that way. I understand. Not everybody wants to adopt that technology. So we got some other ways to do it this turkey season.
Any thoughts on turkey populations out there? Any forecasting you want to give us? I know you
I'm
guys
not gonna,
like
I'm
that.
not gonna, I'm not gonna get into the forecasting game. That's for meteorologists like Scott Covert. But no, look, I'm encouraged. This wet weather and all the rain we had. I know we're going to talk a little bit about some of the repercussions of that I want to remind folks about. But it's I'm glad that didn't happen the opening day or opening weekend of turkey
Sure.
season or later in the spring when it can really affect production and poult survival. Poults are your baby turkeys. That's what we
Right.
call them. But statewide, Scott, our numbers are they're trending upward. Now, I'm not saying things are great. Turkey populations have been down for a couple of decades, really, and it's not just in Arkansas; it's across the southeast. But we are starting to see some results of the regulations, the conservative turkey season regulations that Game and Fish has implemented for a number of years now. I mean, I think we're 5 or 6 years into, much later opening date, a Monday opener, only one turkey in the first week for adult hunters. So I mean, our poult to hen ratio is like 2 to 1. We like 1.8 is what we need for populations to be stable. So that's showing us that again, statewide, and the numbers differ by ecoregion, Ozarks, Ouachita's, Coastal Plain, Delta, and that sort of thing. But statewide, we're at about two, and that is a good number.
Yeah.
1.8 is a sustained population, so two means that is a growing population.
So you talked a little bit about the flooding and the rain we saw. A lot of folks, given it is about to be turkey season, getting back out in the woods may encounter some of the damage that left behind, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and not only the turkey woods, but folks getting out to capitalize on some of the best fishing of the
Oh,
year in the
sure,
spring.
sure.
But yeah, there's some significant issues with especially gravel roads out there getting washed out. They're going to be probably a little more rutted up at the very least. But on many of our wildlife management areas, we've seen some culverts washed out and some, in some places like big chunks of road washed out. So folks, be aware that those conditions exist out there. We're trying to get to them and fix them as quickly as possible, but we have to prioritize, based on areas that get the most traffic, and if there are residences that are affected by these roads that go through WMAs, so we have to prioritize those. But it's not just game and fish property. I mean, U.S. Forest Service properties, both in the Ouachita and Ozark National Forest, and look, the rainfall was not as concentrated everywhere as it was in, say Northeast and Central Arkansas. That was that diagonal line basically from
Sure.
Blytheville down to Texarkana that got some of the heaviest rain. But all areas were affected. I mean, we had substantial rainfall across the state. So, especially if you're going out turkey hunting next Monday morning when it opens statewide on the 21st. Maybe go out and check this week or over
Sure.
next weekend to, see if you can access that area, see if there's you know things like trees across even like walking trails and things like that hunters may use to access the woods. And then a lot of our boat ramps, some of them took some damage, it's going to need repairs, and some of them are going to just need to be cleaned up. There's trees and debris and sand and gravel that wash down on some of those. So just understand, if you're out over the next few weeks fishing, or if you're out for turkey season, you could run into some of those issues.
Trey, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you as always. That'll do it for this edition of Five Outdoors. We'll see you back here next week. Dude, you're so good at this. Just so stinking
Ah,
good.
thanks, Scott. No problem,
So good.
man.
I
I
appreciate